Okay.
Okay, thank you. We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome board members and viewing audience on YouTube if you're watching. Any disclosures of conflict of interest for items on the agenda? Seeing none, I now have to turn it over to Tanya.
Okay, so we'll begin with the election of the chair. So are there any nominations for the position of chair for the Town of LaSalle Police Services Board for 2022?
I'll make the motion that Mark Bondi be the chair.
Or
Second, sorry.
Are there any other nominations for the position of chair? So I need a motion to close the nominations.
move it.
Support.
Do you wish to accept the position of chair for the LaSalle Police Services Board for 2022, Mayor Bondi?
I do.
So I now declare Mayor Bondi as chair of the LaSalle Police Services Board for 2022, and I'll pass it to you for the election of vice chair.
Thank you. Are there any nominations for the position of vice chair for the Town of LaSalle Police Services Board for 2022?
I'll nominate Crystal Malash.
Moved by
second.
Mr. Allen.
I'll second.
Support by, thank you. Is there any other nominations? Seeing none. Mrs. Malash, do you accept?
I do.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, I have to vote on that. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. So routine. I'm sorry, Crystal. Okay, adoption of the minutes of the LaSalle Police Services Board Committee and public meetings held December 13th, 2021 be adopted as presented. Moved by Ms. Houston and support by Mrs. Malash. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. We have no presentation and delegations. Oh, one thing we should do, sorry, is we neglected last year to see the committees of the LaSalle Police Services Board. Is there anybody that wants to change their position and do something else? Like Marty, you want to go on the golf committee?
Decline.
Okay, all right, so the motion to leave committees as they stand. Moved by Deputy Mayor Malash, support by Mr. Allen. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. As I stated, no presentation delegation. So item 1, LPSB 2022 annual membership fees. I think it's pretty cut and dry. We should renew our membership.
Move receipt.
Motion by Mr. Allen and support Deputy Mayor Malash. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. LaSalle Police organizational changes. Chief. Quite a few here.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and members of the board. Just with respect to the organizational changes for our police service, today was supposed to be a day of presentations for each of the people that have either been appointed, promoted, or hired by our service. We've had 14 changes in our staff, which include 4 new hires, 1 appointment, 4 promotions, and 5 redeployments within our organization. So I'm just going to go through them quickly. And again, as mentioned, we wanted to have the presentations in person and here today, but unfortunately, due to the COVID restrictions, we were unable to have family and friends gather to celebrate these promotions of each of these individuals and the hiring of the new recruits. So we are going to defer that until sometime in the spring. I'm hoping that as the restrictions ease, we'll have an opportunity to get together as a family, as we are, and be able to celebrate these accomplishments. So to start, on Monday, December the 6th, 2021, Senior Constable Tara Manners was sworn in as our new member of our service. Tara brings with her 12.5 years of policing experience with the Niagara Regional Police Service. We certainly welcome Tara to our team. Same day, Constable Oliver Jabrail, 7.5-year veteran with the Halton Regional Police Service, was sworn in with us, and we're happy to have Oliver and Tara both working, doing a fantastic job on patrol, and they're certainly a welcome complement to our frontline staff. And Monday, December 20th, Senior Constable Jerry Brune was promoted to the rank of sergeant. He's a 25-year veteran with our service. He'll be leading a platoon of community patrol officers, and we're certainly glad to have Jerry as one of our new leadership team members. And then obviously, as we know, effective Saturday, January 1st, 2022, Staff Sergeant Jason Woods, who's present with us today, was appointed as our new Deputy Chief of Police. And Jason's 22 years in policing, 20 years here with LaSalle. He's certainly a welcome addition to me. Him and I share the same vision for our service, and I believe we work very well together as a team. So I'm very happy to have him as my support, and between him and I, taking care of the leadership of our organization and moving forward with the new and refreshed ideas, and certainly in support of our board's vision for our service. Sunday, January 2nd, 2022, we had a number of redeployments that took effect, and that involves Sergeant Al Gibson being redeployed as our detective sergeant in charge of our criminal investigation division. Al is a 25-year veteran, and 20 of which the last 20 years with our service. So we're happy to have Al in that position as our CID supervisor. Senior Constable Mark Williams has been redeployed as a detective constable to our criminal investigation division. Mark has 21 years with our service. He has spent time as a detective constable in that unit in the past, and we're glad to have him back to be able to provide frontline support. Sergeant Mike Agustinus has been redeployed as a supervisor of our new Special Services Division. That includes overseeing our new Coast Unit, our Traffic Enforcement Unit, as well as our Community Liaison Officer and the deployment of our specialty units come summertime. So he's taken on a pretty good role there, looking after policies, job descriptions, very instrumental in looking after the grant applications as well. So that's Mike is taking care of a lot there. So we're very glad to have him in that role. Senior Constable Bonnie Racine has been redeployed as our new Community Outreach and Support Team Officer. That's COAST, which stands for COAST. She's taken over the mental health support role from Constable Irina Pessin, who's returned back to patrol. We're thankful for Irina's time in the mental health support. She's been our mental health support officer for the last 3 years, and satisfying our grant requirements there, but now it's being taken over by Bonnie in a full-time capacity. And Bonnie is a 26-year veteran with our service, and she's partnering with our community crisis social worker, Ms. Stephanie Robinson, in that capacity, and doing mental health outreach and support there. Senior Constable Justin Perry has been redeployed as our new Traffic Enforcement Unit Coordinator. Justin has 13 years with our service. He'll be coordinating all things traffic. And when you actually look at the nuts and bolts of what we do in the traffic enforcement side of things, there's so many different aspects and dynamics to it. So much technology that's come on board as well. A lot of things about software and getting logged into doing electronic motor vehicle accident reports. People think of just tickets or writing tickets out on the road, but there's more to it. There's our automated license plate reader system, our breath technicians, our traffic reconstruction when there's a collision. We have our officers that are called out to deal with all that. So Justin's taken on that entire umbrella to making sure that we are satisfying our requirements under the traffic management, enforcement, and road safety policies. Sergeant Nose Sanjari was promoted to the rank of sergeant on Tuesday, January the 4th. Nose is a 22-year veteran of our service, and he's moving into the administrative role and supporting our day-to-day operations. We're certainly glad to have Nose in that role, and he'll do a great job there as well. Same day, Senior Constable Nick Goy was promoted to the rank of sergeant. Nick is a 15-and-a-half-year veteran of our service, and will be leading a platoon of constables in our community patrol division. And same day, Jamie Nestor was promoted to the rank of sergeant as well. Jamie's a 21-year veteran of our service, and again, he'll be taking over lead of a platoon of community patrol officers. And two brand new hires that we had that day, Mr. Matt Kosnick was sworn in as a new recruit for our service. Both him and Mr. Alex Pavea was sworn in as a new recruit as well. They'll be attending the Ontario Police College for basic recruit training, and that will be occurring within the next period of months there. Then we did have some postings of photos and just information about the appointments, promotions, and hires on our social media accounts for public view and comment. And certainly congratulations goes out to all those. And again, this is short and sweet, just a quick introduction. These people all have personal lives and they're all great people to it's hard to summarize them within just a couple of sentences, and we'll certainly have the opportunity to meet them face to face along with family and friends to be able to gather hopefully in the spring. So thank you. If there's any questions.
Sorry, I have to unmute myself. Any questions? Comments? That's great news, Chief. It's as you stated earlier, and I'm not sure if people on YouTube can see, but I'm sure they can. The chief and deputy chief and staff sergeants are now wearing black. Maybe you could just make a quick comment on that.
Yeah, just in relation to the black uniforms, it was an idea that was floated last year. And we looked at it and said, you know, that certainly reflects the image of our leadership style going forward. That it's not us versus you, it's we together. We're part of a team. We all have different roles to play on the team, and we certainly want that message relayed to our frontline staff that we're not different people. We're all human beings. We're all there performing a certain job. We just have a different role to play on the team, but we want people to acknowledge the fact that we're not different than you. We are also, we bleed red as well, and we certainly want to make sure that you understand that we're all part of that consistent team and the same message.
Well, you get that family of when you say words team and family, it's especially with those announcements you made with the promotions and new hires, you have a nice family, and it's led by you and Deputy Chief Woods. So we thank you for your comments and look forward to a nice family or celebration with family and friends when that time is made possible. Thank you. Board's pleasure. Motion received, Deputy Mayor Malash and Mr. Allen, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. Use of force report.
So just on the use of force report, it's a summary for the board's review, just on the use of force. The times when the use of force was used over the past year. And this year I had it completed with a table which shows comparators to the years previous. And we're actually down a little bit less than what we were the year before, but those things are subject to obviously the circumstances at the time. And we did have 4 occasions where firearms were discharged, and that was to destroy an animal. That was usually it's a deer that's been struck by an automobile or whatever the case to that's been so badly injured that we have to destroy it. But there was 4 occasions, twice as many as the year before, on the officers drawing their firearms to point them at individuals. And those are to an effect, what we call a gunpoint arrest. That is on a bit on the increase, which is a bit concerning, but certainly, you know, officers using their understanding and training and being able to successfully effect their arrest without you having to use force. And in fact, having a gun pointed is considered use of force, but it's certainly pointing is a lot better than using. So we're certainly glad that those came to successful resolutions. And one of the notes on the report that was submitted, that our analyst has identified, there's been no instances that appear that any officers require any remedial training for use of force. So we're happy to see that as well. So everything was done in accordance with policy.
That's good news. Take the gun out is one thing, but to use it, especially other than animals, and that's helping them out. Board's pleasure, comments?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Comsa, support Mr. Allen, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. Community focus involvement, July to December 2021. You have, I don't know if you want to add anything there, Chief?
Just a summary of the activities that our officers have been involved with. And of course, a lot of things are the face-to-face interactions with people have been reduced because of the pandemic. So we certainly would like to increase that quite a bit more, but as it stands right now, that's what we have for the year. And it is actually fairly robust, but we certainly would like to be able to do a lot more.
Well, hopefully 2022 will be kind to us and we can all do more of that. Board's pleasure. Moved by Deputy Mayor Malash, support Ms. Houston, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. LaSalle Police Services Board 2022 correspondence summary number 1. That's all the emails we've received as board members. Questions, comments? Board's pleasure.
Move receipt.
Moved by Mr. Allen, support by Ms. Houston. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. Crime Stoppers Coordinator and Statistical Report December 2021. Chief, anything you want to add there?
Just one comment. The Crime Stoppers did hold a fundraiser on December the 5th at India 47 restaurant, and we did have 4 officers attend to support them. And certainly we appreciate their partnership, and they certainly are, they provide information to us when the opportunity presents itself there. So we are fortunate to have them.
Yes, we are. Thank you. Board's pleasure. Moved by Ms. Houston, support Mr. Comsa. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. LaSalle Police Service financial statements December 2021.
Just a couple of highlights for the
Yes.
board's attention there. We do have just a couple of different areas to note. One is I'll just go through some of under the salaries and wages, the part-time overtime. You'll see that there's a bit of an increase there. That pertains to staffing levels within our communication center. And that's being addressed and looked at now to see where we do need to make changes to find efficiencies there. Same with administrative expenses. We do have increased insurance costs, and satisfying some contractual agreements there. So there's been an increase. Personnel expenses have been reduced due to travel and training. Of course, that is pandemic related. Equipment and uniform order has been delayed because of staffing. So some of the orders that we normally would have in at the very end of 2021 will now be deferred, or basically we're waiting on those orders to come in to satisfy that stuff into the new year. So that's going to be a bit delayed. Facility expenses, we did have an increase in building repairs. And again, just going back to our conversations earlier in the year of the facilities manager looking after our facility, those are where I'm hoping the facility manager could find those efficiencies and make sure that our building is being addressed. The issues with our building are being addressed effectively and efficiently, certainly by somebody who can put eyes on what needs to be done, and certainly make sure it gets done in an appropriate, in a timely manner. Again, having our police officers spending time trying to figure out mechanical issues, we need to defer that to who needs to look after that. So we're happy to see that. That will probably be the last we see that on our budget at this particular point. Vehicle and equipment expenses, again, higher fuel costs and vehicle repairs to existing fleet vehicles. One thing to note too, that as our vehicles, as common knowledge is, as vehicles increase in mileage and use, so does repair costs. And our vehicles, we've had orders in for a couple of vehicles. Jason will speak to that in a second. But we had looking to purchase some new vehicles. That's been delayed because of the chip shortage worldwide. And that caused us to keep vehicles a little bit longer than we need to. And when that happens, there's the offset by increased vehicle repair costs. So that's an area where, again, we're still looking at efficiencies. We're trying to make it as effective and efficient as possible. If a vehicle is to where it's at the end of its life and it's taking quite a bit of expenses to repair, then that we'll make a decision at that point whether or not it's feasible to even continue keeping it in the fleet. But again, we have to replace it with something. So our program services, one comment on that, we have reduced legal fees. That accounts for a large portion of the reduction there. And transfers to capital, I just wanted to make a point there. I think I put in the memo that there was 2 fleet vehicles that were ordered in 2021 and not able to be supplied, but we actually did acquire 1. So maybe Jason could speak to that a little bit more.
I was on mute, sorry about that. In January, we ordered 2 vehicles. One arrived as promised. The other one, I'll just leave manufacturers out of it and just say that we ran into some issues. We were promised several build dates throughout the year. We tried to honor the PO that we sent them. Unfortunately, the last build date that was supposed to, or finalized date, was November, and then they pulled the plug on that one. which left us in a lurch because all the books had closed on purchasing orders coming up, so we had to wait till after January. Talked to finance, they were okay with it, so we're carrying the money over. On top of the 2 vehicles we ordered for 2022, we're ordering another one for what we missed out with 2022, 2 vehicles. The third one is to compensate for what we lost in 2021. And we're now 11 weeks away from those being delivered. Fingers crossed.
The question on those, Deputy Chief, are they SUV types?
Yeah, currently it looks like the majority, well, actually after this order, almost all of our vehicles in regular use can be SUVs. The options out there for police rated vehicles are fairly minimal. There are some pickup truck options out there. However, I don't know when those are going to be available. Every manufacturer right now has been hit with some sort of chip or shortage on the builds. There's not too many sedan options left out there anymore. The size and comfort on the inside of the SUVs, it's good for the officers. You don't want to be cramped in a vehicle for 12 hours a day with your computer and all your gear. So, and also the 4x4 options on them are also beneficial. So, you know, gas mileage might not be the best, but we got to counter that with what's best for the officers.
Good, thanks. Board's pleasure, questions, comments?
Just a question, Mark. If I'm reading this correct, budget of 8 million, roughly, and actual expenses of 7.5. The 531,000. What happens to that?
There is still expenses that are coming in. There's invoices that have been coming in. In fact, I believe even on the specialty pay for the wages and benefits has substantially increased since even the time that this document was printed and provided. So there is increases that are coming in. Also, the vehicle purchase from last year doesn't show on this document. So I'm not sure what happened there, but that's been straightened around with the finance people as well.
Okay, so given that, should we approve this? I guess in principle, and pending a final one to come in to us in February?
I'm not sure exactly when the final will be in. I believe it took a period of time last year before it was in, and I'm guessing it was probably about April, May, before the final numbers actually came in because of invoices for the end of the year. And I'm not sure really what the holdup was there, but it did take a period of time.
Okay, so Mark, I'll make the motion to approve this, subject to any additional expenses or allocations that take place in the next couple of months.
Okay, moved by Mr. Comsa, support Mr. Allen. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. LaSalle Police Services Board financial statements and general ledger details for December 2021. Board's pleasure. Move Deputy Mayor Malash, or do you have a question? No, okay. Support Ms. Houston, all in favor? That carries. You see the schedule of upcoming meetings in March. There's no other comments or questions? Seeing none. Thanks, Chief, Deputy Chief. Thank you, board members. Thank you, viewing audience, those who have joined us. Have a good night. Meeting